Yo, what's going on? It's your man, Where's Taylor? Salute to the Dream Builders. How y'all feeling? Okay, so listen. Last message we talked about how to marketing strategies for a startup online business. So now what we're going to talk about is how do you create an actual marketing plan for yourself? And I want to give you my 3-step launch strategy. Okay, so let's get right to it. So the first thing you got to do is I always go through a discovery process. Any client that I've ever worked with, any dream builder that has ever worked with me, students or anything like that, we always go through a discovery portion of the launch, right? So discovery is I need to figure out, one, who is my audience? And I always focus on what is a painful problem that this audience has. I get that you may say, look, so I'm going to give you this example. I had someone talk about one of my mentees were working with somebody in insurance. They were doing insurance. And so I'm like, okay, who is your audience? This is so important when you understand your product and you understand the problem that you solve, right? You solve a problem by making sure people are protected in case of their death. So that's the problem you're solving, okay? Now, the next thing I need them to do, I had them do is I say, who is your audience? They're like, oh, everybody needs to be protected. So I work from 21 all the way up to 50 or 60 years old. I said, you are right. Everyone does need protected to be protected. However, we now have to engage what we want to engage because we're trying to get sales instantly. We're trying to get customers instantly. We have to now identify who needs it right now. Who's in pain to the point where they're now struggling to move forward now, right? Y'all heard me use this example before. So I look at, okay, it's the person that's thinking about legacy, the person that has the most to lose if they were to die, or the person that will put their family or put people in the worst position if they were to die. That is, of course, that will be the breadwinner that has a family. So the breadwinner of the family would be the audience that you would go for initially because they're the ones that have the most pain. They're the ones that are going to put their family in the worst possible position if in case of their death. So now my focus would be to them. So what am I going to do? I'm going to find these people. I'm going to figure out who's the breadwinner and I'm going to survey them. This is all in discovery. I do this. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I would do this part for 3 months if I needed to, because this is the most essential part of the entire launch. You understanding your audience and how they think and why they think the way they do, what choices are they making and why they make those choices are so important. So the next thing I'm going to do is, and I've done this there. I got interviews still on my YouTube page right now, but I figure out who the audience is. I'm going to survey them. All right. Because I'm just trying to get more invested in just more information. And another thing I do with them is I interview them. I'll get on and I'll do an hour interview. I'll pick 5 or 6 people that are breadwinners and I want to interview them. I want to know everything I possibly can. And I'm trying to look for what are the things that are reoccurring inside of them. Right? So I'm like, oh man, okay. After 5 interviews, all of them said this same thing. All of them are using language like this. All of them use the word legacy. So now, why does this help me? It's because when I go and start my marketing plan, or when I do my content, or when I do my emails, or I put copy, which is the written text that attracts your audience, copy on my sales page or anything like that, I want to make sure I use the word legacy. Why? Because they use the word legacy. It's because all 5 of them that I just interviewed said, no, it's about me wanting to continue my legacy. And I don't want I don't want to die a burden to my family. Ooh. So all of them in some way says, I don't want to die and my family have to worry about finances. I don't want to die and my family feels I was a burden. I don't want to die and leave them debt. So I look at that and I say, boom. So one of the things they don't want to do is they don't want to die and still not be an asset to their family and not be an asset to their family. So I'm going to use this language. So that's what the discovery part of launching does. You do the interviews, you do your market research. Another thing I do is I want to see what other products and services are out there. What are they providing? So one of the things that I do is I'm not trying to mimic them. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find what's winning, and then I want to find what's the gap. So think about it like this. If somebody is doing exactly what I'm doing, I'm going to visit their Instagram pages, the YouTube. I'm going to find them everywhere. I'm going to look at the reviews on their product, the Trustpilot, whatever. I'm going to look and I'm going to see what people are saying that they loved. And now I got to see, well, how can I match that? If that's the standard, I have to meet that standard. And then I'm going to find, well, what are their gaps? What are people saying they wish they had, or what they wish they would have done? Or I wish they would have talked more about this, or I wish they had daily calls or something like this. Now I found the gaps. And my goal is, how can I fill those gaps in my own program or product, right? And I actually did this. So I saw that a big influencer that does the same thing I do is teaching people how to launch and get customers. I saw that one of the things that people were saying, like, man, I love what they do. I love the structure. It's just so, I just wish I could, get on calls with people. I just wish I had more support on that. And I looked at that and I saw a gap, and I was like, well, when I create my program, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have calls every single day where you can actually get, well, it's Monday through Thursday. I'm going to have calls Monday through Thursday where you can actually get on with real people, real coaches, real customers that actually help me with my launch, and you can ask questions. So wherever you are, and I'm going to get on a weekly basis. And I have all my coaches in a private group where you get access to that group as well. And then another thing I added was accountability calls. So I have one person that just checks every single week to see like where people are in the process. And if they're not on schedule with where they're supposed to be in the process, what I do is I have them call and say, hey, what's going on? I see that you're still on week 2 information. Right now we're on week 4. Is there an issue, or is there a problem, or did something happen, or do you need help? Or something confusing or anything like that? So I wanted the program to exhibit an experience, a supportive experience. Because after doing my discovery, I looked at 3-4 different programs. This was a reoccurring issue. So I said, this is how I'm going to solve that issue. So I need you all to first understand the first part of marketing. The first part of marketing is in the discovery. It's in your market research and what you understand about your audience and the market and the language that they're using, the problems that they're having, and the transformation that they want. So when you understand these, then you can move to the next step. And so in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about the next stage of my launch process, which is the development stage. So I'm going to tell you all exactly what I do to develop content, what I do to develop the right emails, the right sales page, because the development stage is highly important, because now I'm creating what I'm going to use to attract the people to me. All right. No different than, when you create a really dope trailer for a movie, and that was done after the whole discovery, after all of that, you decided that, hey, all right, this is what we're going to use. Right? This is what we're going to use to really draw them in. So now the first thing I want you to focus on is discovery. Go figure out who your audience is and figure out what is their pain, right? The audience that you've already chosen, are you meeting the pain, or are you just meeting a symptom? There's a difference, because you just meeting a symptom, then people still have a choice whether they want to work with you or not. I mean, of course, people always have a choice. But I'm saying when you are meeting the pain, people want relief from that. So for you may say, oh, I'm doing insurance, and I'm doing the 21 through 30-year-olds. It's like, okay, you could pick that audience, but although they should be thinking about death or what happens in case of accidents, they're not. Not a typical 21 to 30-year-old is not considering death right now, especially if they don't have a family. So, and you can even say, well, 21 to 30-year-olds that are married. It's like, okay, well, how many of them are considering that they're about to die in the next 10 to 15 years or accidentally? They're not thinking that way. Now, however, when you get to 37 to 50, when you get to the 37-year-old that has a family and the breadwinner, now you tapped into the pain. So I want for you to do this for assignment for yourself. Like the audience that you have, whatever product you have currently, is it tapping into the pain? So I'm not asking you to change your product, but I may say, you need to change your audience because that's not tapping into their pain. All right. This is the wrong audience for that product. And that could be the reason why you're not getting customers currently. Or maybe you have the right audience, but you got the wrong product, which still means you got to change the audience. So you may have the breadwinners, but you don't have the right thing for them, right? You don't have something that's like, I need that right now. We want to create based off of need, all right, and a painful need or relief. We want to create based off of painful need for relief, right? And so this is where discovery comes in. So that's the first step I go through with everybody, all right? And so my clients and my mentees, all that stuff, they get annoyed by it, but they quickly get over it when we start making money. Okay, so there we go. Let me know, did I miss something? Is there something that you wanted me to dig more into? Let me know in the comments below, or you can send an email to support@dreambuildernation.net and we'll answer that. And if you ever want me to answer some questions for you all, you can still send that to support@dreambuildernation.net, or you can just go ahead and ask your question below. Also, let me tell you this. I actually am doing a free training. You can click on the link below or visit wordstailor.net. And I dig into all of this. I show you how to put the client acquisition plan together. I show you exactly how to write the correct language, how to get the correct language. I show you exactly what you should use to attract customers. And then I show you my 5P profit strategy as well. So you can get on that free training, wordstailor.net, or click the link below. All right, let's get it. I'll see y'all on the next video. You know what? We're probably going to put this 3-part series out the whole week. We're going to just do this the whole week. All right, I ain't going to make y'all wait till next week. Let's get it.